Hey, what's going on? It's Joshua here with I Cut Grass, and it's about 5 o'clock in the morning, April the 14th, 2021. Been working at my desk for a couple of hours. I started at about 3 o'clock this morning. Wanted to get on briefly. For those of you that don't know, if this is the first time you've watched a video of mine, I run a lawn care landscaping business, and I try to help guys out when they get started by giving them tips and stuff to learn from my own failures and things that I've experienced while I've been in the field. What I want to talk about briefly today is about QuickBooks and an issue that's come up with their program, their online program, that they've just kind of brushed to the side when I've called them. So if you don't run QuickBooks, it's a pointless video to watch. Maybe you're not in lawn care, but you run QuickBooks and you've had this issue. I don't know, but I'm just going to bring it to the forefront because I have called on 3 previous times to talk with QuickBooks, and they have failed to do anything to fix it. Now, before I move forward, I want to say something real quickly. I like the QuickBooks program. Most of my experience with QuickBooks has been positive. This is what I believe is a simple issue to resolve, but for whatever reason, they can't do it. And they haven't done it. So let me explain my experience, okay? For the longest time, when I would send an invoice out to a customer via email, they could pay that through the email online, okay? They could mail a check separately if they want to. They could send me, different forms of payment outside of the email if they want to. But there are many who will take advantage of paying their invoice through the email. Now, in the particular example I'm going to bring up, it has to do with credit cards. I would send out an invoice, and let's say it's $40, and I would select in QuickBooks in the setup section that the customer pays the processing fee. I don't want to cover that for a customer. I don't require them to pay with a credit card in the state of Indiana. It's perfectly fine and legal. So it would be passed on to them. So let's say I send the customer an invoice for $40, and they choose to pay the credit card. And just to make this a processing fee, and just to make this simple, I'm going to say it's $2. Okay, I'm just going to use that number to make this simple. So what would happen is they would get an invoice for $40. They would click the link in there to pay. It would advise them that they're going to be charged a convenience fee of $2. They would make the payment, and then in QuickBooks, what it would do is it would record the payment as having been made. It would automatically generate a second invoice for the processing fee, in this case $2, and then also it would automatically apply that overall $42 payment to $40 towards the invoice I sent them, and $2 towards the invoice that was created for the processing fee. So it would have a zero account balance after that payment was done. Well, one day, about midway through February 2021, all of a sudden, people pay their invoices through the online option via the email. And now, in this particular case, instead of the account being paid out, what it would do instead is it would show a $2 credit for the customer's account. So it wouldn't record, it wouldn't create a second invoice for the processing fee, and it wouldn't apply the processing fee to anything. Instead, it applies the extra $2 as a payment to the customer's account, showing them a credit. And then they get a notification also saying, hey, you've got a credit on your account. So why is this a problem? Well, number one, I've got to go into the program and create another invoice for the charge for $2 for a convenience fee. And then I have to explain to the customer, no, you really don't have a credit. And this is a problem because now, with what I do, my service is a recurring service that happens each week. So I have to mandatory get in and do a reconciliation on transactions each week for those that make the payments via credit card. I called QuickBooks about this several times, 3 specifically. The first time I called in, they gave me a ticket number. 2 weeks later, they had done nothing. They never contacted me to fix the problem. They never followed up with me. And I spent an hour on that phone call. 2 weeks later, I call them on the phone for an hour and 45 minutes. The lady is looking into it and says that I have to be on the phone while IT looks into the problem. I have to literally be hanging out doing nothing on the phone while they resolve an IT issue that's not related to anything on a browser. It's on their server issue. It's their program. Fine, whatever. I put the phone on in the background. I'm multitasking. An hour and 45 minutes into the conversation, the phone goes dead. They drop the call because I'm on a hard line here. They never call me back. They never follow up. 2 weeks later, I call again. This time I get someone who's very kind, says they want to help me. And they ask the same questions, even though we have a ticket number. So I have to go through the whole spiel for a third time. And they tell me, we're going to get you resolved. She gets on, gets IT. Oh, I'm sorry, you just have to, she keeps putting me on hold. I'm listening to some music while I'm multitasking for her to come back and ask me, just chit chat to kill time is what she's trying to do. And I appreciate she was trying to help me. Long story short, 2 hours into the conversation, they can do nothing about it. It's a beta issue, they say. My program has always had the beta feature on it. It's never been an issue. QuickBooks never sent out an email or any correspondence to me whatsoever about this change. And since it's happened, they've done absolutely nothing to fix it. As a customer, or more importantly, as an individual who has nothing to do, this isn't a desktop version. It's not limited to my computer where it would sync up each night. It is an online feature that I log into their program. So it's on their issue. There's absolutely no reason that I have to wait on hold for them to do their job. They have failed. They have dropped the ball. Now, as I've mentioned before, I like QuickBooks, but this is a big problem because now it's extra work. And another thing is it's potentially costing me a lot of business because customers might think that I'm running a scam. Because when they get an email back that says, hey, they have a credit and some of these larger invoices for these big landscape projects that I do, where the processing fee could be $40, $50, $60, $75, they don't understand why they're paying that extra money. Okay, because the receipt that they get, it doesn't show. It shows the processing fee. It's itemized on the receipt, but it doesn't list the reason for the processing fee charge that they pay. So it shows them, and I showed them this. I sent them an email because they got onto my computer screen and I shared the screen with them. So they see what I'm talking about, but it's very misleading. QuickBooks has done absolutely nothing on my end to fix it unless I've called them and they haven't fixed it. There's no reason I need to be on hold. There's no reason you need to be on hold for an issue that's a problem on their side of things. They've dropped the ball. They need to pick it up and they need to make this right. Now, will it eventually be worked out? I don't know. So far as of April the 14th, 2021, it's not fixed. So far as April 14th, 2021, they haven't reached out to me on their own to follow up with it. I've created posts on the online forum there, and mostly it's limited to people who work on it too that try to help each other. And then you'll get a phone call from someone called QuickBooks Pro Team, and some guy with a foreign accent that wants to log into your computer so he can see things, and they'll tell you that they'll ask you, did you have an online surge where you lost the internet because it's a memory issue? What they're doing is they're trying to scam you. I don't have to have memory on my computer for their online program to work. That's not how this works. Me losing the internet isn't going to throw off their program. It's not. Besides, it's not even happened. But you just don't know who you can trust. So on this score, QuickBooks gets a 0 out of 10. You're failing miserably. You're not doing your job. You're not helping people. You're creating more of a problem, and you're giving me as a customer more of a reason to find service elsewhere. And I'm telling you right now, if I find another program out there, now that I'm going to have to look, I might make the change. Is this enough to make me make the change? I don't know just yet, but I know it's potentially costing me money and it's giving me more work, and they're not doing their end. They're not fixing the problem, and I'm not going to call them continuously, wait on the phone for 2 and 3 hours for them again to tell me that it's not fixed. They know that it exists and they need to make it right. So if you've had a similar experience, maybe you want to share it. Maybe you even want to go on the Facebook on their page and create a post about it, because that's what I'm going to continue to do periodically until they resolve the problem. Anyway, that's it, guys. If you know of a different program that you're running, that you're able to invoice your customers and all that kind of stuff, and you don't have to worry about these types of issues, would you kindly share it in the comments below so I could take a look at it? Thanks.